Soul of a Man 504, aka the Monel Rest. So today we are doing an ancestral honoring for some folks will call him the Godfather, Mr. Kevin Samuels. His time here on this side. Some people would say that he was controversial, so to speak. But one of the main things he talked about was relationships. The relationship, especially the relationship between men and women, um, dating, things of that nature. And it's interesting. Like him or not, yeah, he says some things that ruffle some feathers out here, but he did speak truth to power. And that's something that you can't deny. With him, against him, he wasn't a bad guy, wasn't a good guy. He was just the guy, and that's just how that goes. And you have to remember, at the end of the day, he was still human. He was an African American gentleman, to my knowledge, and he was someone who had a family, and just as interesting, just to see people happy. It's like when I one thing I always say is that when people show you who they are, believe them. Seriously, when people show you exactly who they are, please believe them, because it's just what I saw from certain people, Twitter, whatever. It's very sickening. I did see some people show love. That's cool. They talked about him on the Breakfast Club briefly. At least they mentioned it. You know, um, didn't follow him all the time, but some of the stuff was funny. It was hilarious. Some of it, you know, um, it opened eyes and it got people's attention. It's interesting. When you hold that mirror up to people's faces. Some people don't like that. You know, it's we do live in a world where we cast disparaging things. We want other people to handle all of the crap, but we want to hold. We like somebody say. Sometimes you have to hold your own nuts, and that is the truth of the matter. Sometimes we do have a lot of work to do internally, and we know that there is no perfection in this world. Um, the high value, or holding yourself to a higher standard, and that's good. That's retroactive. I can respect that. But when the ego comes into play, as a matter of fact, when people say, hey, I'm just better than, and maybe you're great at one thing, or whatever like that, but perception of you're better because you look a certain way, or you whatever, come on, man. I'll always say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. For me personally, I just love things that are classic. I just love things that are natural, and a lot of what we're seeing out here isn't classy. It isn't natural. It's maybe for some people that's who they are. um and you are, we're living in a time now where if you stand up against something, especially the, let's say, the hot button topics of today, and if you're a Kevin Samuels or a Dave Chappelle, people will, there's gonna be anger, and people, like we saw with the people will try to kill. It's like, what, I don't know what you would want to call this era that we're living in now, but I hope it hurries up and gets over with, because it is very sad. and most of it is very sickening. And yeah, there are some great things that are still happening out here. Me personally, I want to hear about that stuff. I'm not one to get into the topic of relationships. That's not my my spiel. So just to sit down and talk. People are going to be talking about that for thousands of years after we're gone. The relationship between men and women and blah 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 blah. I think it's sometimes it is relegated to what is happening in society and the you could say like there's through the media like the movement of women is being pushed very 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 hard these days. And that's just you can't get around that's just what that is. My thing is, hey, I always want the best for people as long as they want the best for me. But you really have to have the best. You really need to have the wanting and the desire to have the best for yourself because you really have to take care of home first. I think that was one thing that Kevin was saying that you do have to naturally take care of. You do have to take care of home. I do remember having a village when I was younger. I didn't. I grew up. In the suburbs. My whole neighborhood was black, and at that point, everybody was still looking out for each other. Now, not so much. Everybody seems to be looking out for themselves. That's just how it goes out here. The social media thing adds a different aspect. It takes some balls to really put yourself out there. I don't care if you have millions of people watching you around the world or if it's just you talking. It takes I would say it takes some fortitude to go out there, and it takes some fortitude to be different. If you're not out here running around like some of these folks doing crazy stuff for views and blah 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 blah. But let's just say if you're a guy, you dress well, you're articulate, you're well educated, so to speak, and you question the status quo, then you become a problem, and that's an issue, because things really do need to be shaken up, and things are being shaken up, through pandemics, this great spiritual thing that we're going through, and that's pretty much what I talk about a lot. If you're new here, and please subscribe. But um, it is good to know who people are, and I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but just give people some. You can find out a lot from people by just having a conversation, and I think within certain respects, that's what he was doing. So having conversations with women, men, and just relationships, how we can better that, and he did it like I say, a little different, maybe a little controversial. Everything isn't always going to be nice in the world. Everybody like, oh, can you talk to me a little nicer? We don't live in a nice society. We don't. Things are not perfect. What is perfect for one person, maybe culturally, is a nightmare for somebody else. You have to, when I look at the dynamic between let's say African American men, African American women, I get how we got here. Um, Slavery, Jim Crow, all of those laws, the separation of the home, of the family, the taking out of the black man, and so on and so forth. And integration, that's one thing a lot of people say that was very like very crazy towards us. And some people will take on let's say their the people who are running the show, they'll take on a lot of their ideals, and that's where we are. And so some people are fighting against that, and they'll say, "Hey, look at yourself." They'll say, "Hey, look in the mirror, look at yourself, look at who you are, who you've become." And again, for a lot of people, it's a nightmarish thing. Other people, I think it's really how you look at it. And for Mr. Samuels, he brought a very intriguing dynamic. And what he said isn't going to go away. as we live now, the internet is forever. So his legacy is cemented again. Love him or hate him, it's honestly, and it's honestly, really and truly, it is what it is. And I think there are going to be other, probably more men and some women too, who just rise up and just speak truth to power. One thing I think people love, um, when the shoe is on the other foot and you can point the finger, but when the shoe is on your foot and people are putting you under the fire, and you have to better yourself, not just for the betterment of your life, but for the betterment of a movement and all of that good stuff. And again, if anybody out there, man, I'm not against anybody. If you, again, I always say go where the love is. If you got love for me, I have love for you. That's just what it is. But I get it. I know I'm not gonna be for everybody out there, and I'm cool with that. I sleep great at night. People will, people. I saw the just the man. That's just, people take things so personally, and like you're not even calling their name, but if the shoe fits, you gotta wear that some bitch. It's just, that's just what it is, and that's how it goes, man. um and yeah, so to Mr. Samuels, I bid you good night, and I'd say, thank you for living your dream. At least I can. I think that's fair. I can say, thank you for living your dream and being a force for at least some kind of change, or trying to start a discussion, even if it was in a humorous way. Some people took offense to it. That's what it is. He was just one person, and one thing I always say is that, um, some things you do have control of. When I was a little younger, stuff I would watch on TV, if I didn't like it, I just didn't watch. I didn't let it affect my life, so to speak. But man, some people out here are just so angry and so bitter. But that's something that you have to handle. You got to look yourself in the mirror. Some people don't want to do that, but that's what it is, man. And yeah. But again, just someone who just passed away probably too soon, and I honor his transition, in an ancestral way, and because I am my ancestors and they are me, and I have love for the Most High and all of that, man. Everything, all great things, spiritual and a natural and positive and progressive way. I am with it, and I do spiritual consulting, life coaching. So if you want to talk, hit me up, and book your sessions. But other than that, to Mr. Samuels, to his family, condolences, because you have to remember the man was a father. And if you have, imagine if you passed away and people on the internet, saying all kind of crazy things and wishing, what if it say, many men wish death upon me, blood in the eye they want me to see, but they can't take my life away. It's what it is, man. But all right, folks, that's pretty much what I have. Mr. Samuels, we bid you a good night, sir. And may your transition be one of peace. And a lot of people are gonna miss you out here, and hope that more positive conversations and actions can be had in society, so we can just be better within ourselves and uplift and bridge the gap, because there is a gap out here, ladies and gentlemen. That's the thing. So, but all right. So yeah. But again, Mr. Soul of a Man, ladies and gentlemen, 504. Please subscribe to the channel. But as always, I'm out this piece. Peace.